Hi everyone, welcome to this overview of the Boren Awards. This is going to help you in this week's activity. Remember, this week we're going to do a draft of your final project, right? Which is to hand in an application for either a Boren Award or a Fulbright Award. You get to choose which one. There's two videos this week. This is the first one, the Boren Awards. And then I'll do another video where I give a quick overview of the Fulbright. The Boren Awards is a national security scholarship. They have what they call scholarships and fellowships. Basically, the difference between those are you an undergraduate in an undergraduate degree program, or are you a graduate in a graduate degree program? I'm going to concentrate on the scholarships. There is some differences. The main difference, I'd say, is the scholarships for undergraduates tend to be for a program that exists, that's out there. Fellowships, you get a lot more leeway as a graduate student to formulate your own project that you would do out abroad, right? Out in the field. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to concentrate on scholarships. There's a national security bias in the Boren Awards, right? It's for people who might be interested in going into national security careers, which we have talked about a little bit in this class. In fact, you are required to serve with a federal agency after graduation if you receive a Boren Award, and certainly it could be useful in getting you in the door with federal agencies. Because it's to do with national security, one of the first things that you'll notice, one of the main impacts that has, is it limits in certain respects the language that can be involved. So it's national security, it's language focused, right? And what they want you to do, they want you to study a language that's not usually studied, right? That we don't have a great wealth of people that speak these languages, and so that's why we're starting here on this list of languages that are interesting. And they say the country that you choose, right? The language that you choose should be appropriate to the country that you go to, or the other way around, I guess both. So, look, though, there is a great variation, great selection there of languages. Look, you've got Punjabi, Romanian, Russian, Serbian, Asian languages, European languages, pretty much all African languages there, right? The double star, the double asterisk there mentions that, hey, we do have, we have some emphasized African countries that we'd be very interested in sending you to. But as I say, Asian, African, there's Japanese. Did I mention Japanese? Korean, Zulu is also an African language, I'd say. So African, Asian, European languages mostly. I don't see Spanish on here, right? I don't see French on here. Let me check that. I don't see German on here. Right, so those are bigger languages that maybe more people would speak. There's no need for that, and so you're unlikely to get this award to go to a program in France or England. I think it directly says, no England, no Canada, no Australia, no New Zealand. Right, we're not sending you to English-speaking countries with this scholarship. Let's go. So you've got to choose your language, choose your country, a country that makes sense to the language that you choose, and then you've got to choose a particular, and I want you to do this as well for your assignment this week, right? For your draft of your final assignment, what I'd like you to do is to choose a particular study abroad program, and it has here a kind of a wealth of resources on here. It kind of points you to some places that will allow you to find study abroad programs. Of course, ASU has them. They have to be. I'm doing one. I'm leading one, a faculty-led one, to Macedonia next summer. Me and Professor Sivak, if you know him, we're going to take students to Macedonia. You're all welcome to sign up and join us on that. It's a 3-credit course. The thing is, it only lasts 2 weeks. So Boren Awards require that you're going to spend at least one semester, but you can spend up to 12 months on the program. So bear that in mind when you're choosing a program. It's got to be a program of at least one semester. They say that if you're a STEM student, if you're a student enrolled in a STEM undergraduate degree, you can do 8 weeks during the summer. But for social science majors, if you're political science or if you're global studies majors, as I believe most of us are, then it's got to be a minimum of 1 semester abroad. So I would just advise you to click on this here. Look, I'm under scholarships. I'm under choosing your study abroad program. I'm going to click on IIE password there. Passport, I should say. Password. And then you'll see here, right, you can choose by region, by country, by subject, by language. There's Belarusian must have been one of those on the list, I would imagine. You can search any program. There's only 2 there, look. But there's an academic year at Yanka Kupala State University of Grodno. So that might be interesting. You might be interested in that. Certainly an academic year would qualify for Boren. So you're going to choose one of those in any way that you'd like to choose it. Is there a language that you're already studying? Is there a language that you already know quite well, a language that they're interested in here, that they're interested in with the Boren, that you could apply for? Again, obviously, right, this is for the purposes of the class. You don't have to submit this to Boren. I'm not requiring that, of course. I couldn't really do that. But having said that, I had a student this time last year, I teach this class also on the ground campus, on ASU ground campus. I have a student who applied. He went through this same process that you're going through now, doing this mock Boren application. And what did he do? He was a stand-in. He almost got it. He was a stand-in for a Boren scholarship to Japan. Japan would be probably pretty competitive, so I take that as a very, very, very strong result. So definitely, you can do this, right? This is something that's an option for you. You can really apply. You can really get the Boren. But obviously, as I said, for this class, I require you to go through the process, right, and build those skills of being able to write grant proposals, right? And I require that. That's a useful skill for you to have, but obviously, whether you hand it in or not is up to you. Okay, where are we? That's my thing. Right. Over here. So yes, you've got to choose your own program. I recommend that you go through here. You could also check on ASU website for their study abroad programs. We have semester programs and things like that. So that will probably be eligible for the Boren as long as I said, that you're going somewhere, that's not Britain, right, or not France. So here's what I want you to perform for this week. Here's what I want you to go through the motions of, at least, is these. If you choose Boren, there's 2 papers, right? There's 2 papers to do. Let's have a quick look. 2 essays. There we go. Let's have a look at this. So, essay 1. This is all I'm asking you to do this week. So you write either essay. Write both essay 1 and essay 2 if you choose Boren. In essay 1, you're going to explain the significance of your proposed country, region, and language to U.S. national security. Now, they have a broad definition of U.S. national security, right? So whatever the program is, you can probably fit it into a national security lens. Security, I'm teaching a class on security right now. I don't want to get too much into it, right? But it's beyond just the military, right? Beyond just intelligence or diplomacy, right? Think about water security, human security, right? Health matters. Security is very, 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 very broadly defined for the Boren. So, is there a particular country, a particular region, or a particular language that you think is important to U.S. national security? Make a case for that, right? Make a case for that. And then describe how the country, language, and overseas program you selected will help you achieve your career goals, including your plans to fulfill the federal service requirement, which I mentioned already. If appropriate, you may also include relevant past academic, extracurricular, volunteer, internship, professional experiences. Be specific. Now, I realize that not all of you are going to want to go into a federal career, a federal service career, and so I'm happy, whatever career you're doing, I'm happy for you to tweak this and talk about how it could possibly help you in your career goals. Now, if you're adamant that the career goals that you have are not going to be helped by a Boren Award, that's very possible, right? But then you might have to tweak your career goals a little bit. Obviously, again, right, just for the purposes of the class, I'm not really asking you to reevaluate your career. But for the purposes of this paper, please do that in order to make it easier on yourself to make this case. And so then you'd also have to do essay 2, which will be to describe the study abroad program that you chose in these ways. Also describe the language component, like how much, what is the language component of that program, and then talk about your past experience in studying or speaking the language, right? So that would be the assignment. You do a draft of that. I'll give you some feedback this week, and then of course you'll get points for it this week. But of course you'll have to hand this in at the end of the semester as well for more points. So there I am. I'm at about 10 minutes. There's the website, borenawards.org. I recommend that you go and you refer to this, you read these things. Look, the essay has a maximum length. Essay 1 has a maximum length of 800 words, and essay 2 has a maximum length of 8 words. So I'm looking for, something close to 1,600 words, but not more than that. I don't mind if you do double space for me. Of course, if you do send it in, you'll just adjust the format a little bit for Boren. And yeah, just to check out, you can check out if you're eligible there as well to actually apply, as long as you're a US citizen, as long as you're going to go to a country that's not in Western Europe, Canada, Australia, or New Zealand. And certainly you've got to leave the US. You've got to be a high school graduate, which I imagine you all are, or have earned a GED, which if you're in this program, you almost certainly have one of those too. And then that you're in an undergraduate degree program, which many of you will be. Some of you may not be, but you may be planning on doing that soon into the future. So there you go. And of course, again, I mentioned fellowships. There's some similar requirements for the fellowship, except you've got to be a graduate student. Let me just show you as I leave how much you're gonna get for this, how much money you can get for this. Is it in budget? There you go. Award amounts. So yeah, if you're going to go for a semester, you can have $10,000. If you're going to go for a year, you can have $20,000. So it's a nice amount of money. Again, for the summer program is $8,000, but that's just for STEM students. So if any of you are either STEM students or considering doing that in the future, you've got to do it for 8 weeks, but you get $8,000 for that. What is this? Yeah, don't. Take as much as it costs. Yeah, don't try and make yourself more competitive by going cheap. The money's there. It's to support this sort of activities. It's to build in the United States a cadre of people who have the experience of being abroad and have the language skills that are necessary for U.S. national security. So yeah, give this one a think. Give this one some consideration, and maybe decide to again go through the motions of applying for Boren, and as I said, hand in the draft this week by next Wednesday at midnight. Thank you. I look forward to reading those.